Asylum officers are sneaky. Many of them, sadly, are anti-immigrant, and some of them are actively looking for ways to deny you. But you see, they can't just say, I don't like this person, so denied. Rather, to get the decision past their supervisor, they have to justify their negative decision. They have to come up with an at least halfway plausible excuse or reason for the denial. Now, in my time as an asylum officer and now as an asylum lawyer, well, I've seen a lot of sneaky tricks used by USCIS to deny asylum seekers. And I'm going to share with you now some of these tactics so that you're prepared and won't be susceptible to these tricks in your asylum case. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending or are considering applying, and I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview for multiple years. All right, one thing asylum officers like to do is lull you into a false sense of security. Now, some of them will act extremely friendly at the beginning of the interview, as if you're just having a pleasant chat with an old friend. They'll probably make small talk, and they might ask about your family or even things like your hobbies. You see, they want you to let your guard down. They want you to forget that you're in a setting where everything that you say can be used against you, where every little errant comment or any tiny mistake or misstatement can be used as a justification to deny your asylum claim. They'll say things like, oh, well, this is a non-adversarial process, and we're just here to talk so that I can understand your situation. It's all good, okay? But remember, even if they seem friendly and agreeable or even sympathetic, well, they're not your friend. They're not on your side. They're probably still just waiting for you to slip up, so they'll have ammunition to justify a negative decision in your case. Now, listen, I'm not saying that you need to be rude or cold in dealing with the asylum officer. I just want you to remember that no matter what they say to try to make you think that you're just having an innocent little chat, well, you are, in fact, being scrutinized. You need to maintain your focus and to be sure to stick to your game plan by presenting your case in a compelling and thoughtful way. It's not a game, and you're not just chatting with a buddy. This is serious stuff, and you need to remember that. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. All right, one of the main excuses that asylum officers rely on in denying people is what's called inconsistencies. This is when you say something that contradicts, or at least doesn't line up neatly with, something else that you've said. Or there can also be inconsistencies between things that are stated in your written case materials, or also between what you say during your interview and something that's in your written case materials. So you see, when the officer can point to a few alleged inconsistencies in your case, well, they can deny you, as they can claim that you're not credible, which basically means that they think that you're lying. This happens all the time. Even when the person clearly is not lying, it's kind of the asylum officer's go-to reason for a denial when they want to deny someone, but they can't come up with a real legitimate reason to deny them. Because you see, if you dig deep enough, it's pretty easy to find inconsistencies. And that's especially true where the officer is actively trying to trick you into making errors that they can then frame as an inconsistency, or where the applicant's case wasn't very well prepared because they didn't hire an asylum lawyer. Here are some examples of how asylum officers do this. One way is to penalize you for providing details in your testimony at your asylum interview that were not included in the written declaration that you provided ahead of time. They'll say, well, today you're telling me about something that you should have discussed in your personal statement. And, the fact that you're just now telling us about this for the first time, well, it seems suspicious. We think you're lying. Now, you can avoid this by working with an experienced asylum lawyer who can help ensure that everything that's crucial to your case does in fact get included in your declaration. Also, they can help you deal with these kinds of confrontations at the asylum interview. All right, another tactic asylum officers love to use to find inconsistencies is to ask the same question over and over again, perhaps phrasing it slightly differently each time in hopes that you'll eventually answer in a way that's slightly different than a previous answer that you gave. And they especially like to do this with events that happened a long time ago and perhaps were quite traumatic for you, such that it's hard for you to remember. And let alone talk about these things. Asylum officers have unrealistic expectations for the level of detail that a person should be able to recall from an event, and they use this against you. You've got to be prepared for this, okay? All right, let me tell you now about one of the favorite tricks used by immigration officers to discredit and ultimately deny asylum seekers. It's this question. Have you ever lied to a US immigration officer or lied in connection with an application for any US immigration benefit? So most asylum seekers reflexively say no. They're thinking about asylum application materials that they submitted and everything that they've said in their interview up to that moment, and all that is true, so they answer with no. And then, for people who came to the United States on a visa, the officer confronts them with information from their visa application form, or from what they said at their visa interview, or what they told the immigration officer at the airport in the United States when they arrived about the purpose of their visitor, what they plan to do while in the United States. You see, you probably indicated that you plan to come as a tourist or maybe a student or whatever, but then you ended up applying for asylum, which looks to be inconsistent with your previous assertions that, you just wanted to come temporarily for some other purpose. And you just now in your asylum interview said, no, I've never lied, but now it looks like you're caught in a lie. From the officer's perspective, you just lied by saying that you'd never lied previously about any immigration stuff, when you in fact might well have done this. The issue here is basically lying at your asylum interview about never having lied. So watch out for this question at your asylum interview and just answer it honestly. If you did misrepresent the purpose of your travel to the United States, then say as much. You see, this will not keep you from getting asylum, but saying, no, I've never lied during your asylum interview can get you denied if it looks like you did in fact lie in the past. Listen, the point here is that you need to be extremely careful in your written materials and be very prepared for your asylum interview. An asylum lawyer can help you to do this, increasing your chances for asylum success. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then please call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to support you in your asylum journey.